Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. The case of Jaleayah Davis. The police officers who arrived at the scene were horrified by what they discovered. Body parts were scattered on the road, and the girl was found decapitated and missing a leg. Blood was splattered everywhere, creating a gruesome sight. But what had actually occurred? Jaleayah Davis was born in Colorado Springs in 1991. She has an older sister named Taubi Davis. They had a close relationship, like best friends. Eventually, the family moved to Marietta, a small town of 13,000 people near the West Virginia border. After finishing school, Jaleayah took a job at a local store, aspiring to become an esthetician as her dream for the future. On Friday, November 18, 2011, 20-year-old Jaleayah left home around 6 p.m. to meet her friend Kristin. They planned to get ready for a party together at Brian's house, where Jaleayah would spend the night afterward. The girls dressed up, applied makeup, and styled their hair beautifully. Friends picked them up, and they all went to the party and then to the pool room in the park. Although Jaleayah didn't know the other friends very well, she enjoyed her time with Kristin. She texted her mom Kim updating her on their plans and saying they were having a great evening. Her last text was sent at 9:30 p.m. The party with Jaleayah's friends was still going strong. At 3:28 a.m., Taubi received a call from Jaleayah, who was at the gas station. Taubi was with a guy at the time and told Jaleayah that they were coming to pick her up. During the call, Taubi heard Jaleayah ask Kristin to give her her keys, while Kristin mumbled something in the background. Then Taubi and her lover went to the gas station. 5 minutes later, Jaleayah called Taubi again, her tone angry and annoyed. She asked Taubi to meet her somewhere else. While stopped on the highway, Taubi asked Jaleayah what was going on. Jaleayah replied that it was not something to discuss over the phone and insisted on explaining in person. Taubi could hear Jaleayah arguing with Kristin, accusing her of being a bad friend. Taubi realized that the two friends had argued. Since they were in a hurry, Jaleayah decided to change direction and go to a location about 20 minutes away. Jaleayah urged older sister to hurry and yelled at Kristin, calling her terrible. Taubi tried to calm her down, assuring her that they would be there soon as she and her lover ran towards them. 20 minutes later, Taubi decided to call Kristin and ask what had happened to them. Before Kristin could reply, the connection was lost. Taubi and her lover arrived at the designated location but could not believe their eyes. Several police cars had blocked the road. They stopped and asked the police what was going on. The police replied that there was a dead body of a girl on the road. It was an African-American woman wearing a white coat. Taubi looked at her boyfriend in horror. According to the description, it was Jaleayah. The police did not tell Taubi anything else. In a panic, she called Kim, her mother, and the rest of the family, who quickly arrived at the scene. While waiting for her family, Taubi called Kristin back. She said she saw something, then hung up. Taubi tried to call Kristin back, but she didn't answer. Jaleayah's family, who had just arrived, began to press the police for information. Police confirmed that a body found on the highway was Jaleayah's, and that her identification was found with her. Her car was 300 meters away from where her body was found. Jaleayah had been decapitated, and some of her body parts were scattered on the road. Her family could see a white sheet covering some of her remains. They were in shock and trying to understand what had happened to Jaleayah. They had only spoken to her on the phone 20 minutes earlier, so they were confused by how quickly this tragedy had unfolded. A truck driver was driving down the road when he noticed a gruesome scene. Body parts were strewn across the highway. He immediately called 911 at 3:48 a.m. and remained at the scene waiting for police. To prevent other vehicles from driving over the remains, he began blocking oncoming vehicles. The condition of the remains made it impossible to determine the gender of the victim. When police arrived, they secured the area and began questioning the truck driver and other passing motorists, but no one was able to provide information. The drivers said they did not see anything suspicious, nor did they touch the remains for the victim's belongings. There were no cars parked nearby, and the reason the victim abandoned the vehicle remains unclear. Jaleayah was brutally killed. Her head was discovered in the bushes alongside the road. One of her legs was severed below the knee, and her right breast was missing. Fragments of brain were found on the nearby fence posts. The scene was horrifying. Jaleayah was barefoot and completely topless, wearing only torn jeans. Her clothing was neatly arranged on the fence. First her bra, then her shirt, and lastly her jacket. All the items were tattered and stained with blood. It remains a mystery who placed her belongings there. A car was discovered 300 meters from her body, crashed into a fence. Unlike the horrific condition of her body, the car appeared to be relatively intact. It was empty and running, with the doors locked and the headlights on, suggesting the driver had left in a hurry. The front passenger window was open and there were noticeable dents in the car. Blood was found on the license plate, in the trunk on the passenger side, and on the taillights. The police deemed her death suspicious and launched an investigation. Taubi kept calling Kristin, who was the last person to see Jaleayah and had been with her before the incident, in hopes of getting an explanation. Kristin mentioned she had witnessed something, but the calls kept getting disconnected. After the police conducted their investigation, the family members visited the scene and took photographs. They found a boot print in the gravel. The following day, the police aimed to interview everyone who had been with Jaleayah that night, including Kristin and her friends, but could not locate Kristin. She also did not answer her phone. When police went to Kristin's house, her father responded, stating that she did not wish to speak to anyone and that they would be hiring a lawyer. 12 hours after Jaleayah's death, Kristin indeed hired a lawyer. She became the primary focus of the investigation, and her refusal to cooperate shocked Jaleayah's family. They suspected she was hiding something. Otherwise, she wouldn't be avoiding everyone, ignoring the police and her family, or hiring a lawyer so quickly. They also knew that Kristin was the granddaughter of the sheriff and had a history of altercations at a bar, where she was known for her temper, but her grandfather always covered for her. 3 days later, Kristin met with the police alongside her lawyer. She explained that she arrived home at 7 p.m. to prepare for the party. Afterward, she and her friends drove to Brian's house in Jaleayah's car, arriving around 10 p.m. The party had several unfamiliar faces, and people were drinking and socializing. Feeling bored, Kristin, Jaleayah, and 2 male friends went to pick up another friend, Katie, and get some more drinks. The 5 of them then returned to the party and continued drinking. Kristin and Katie's friends tried to stop Jaleayah from drinking more, but they were unsuccessful. Jaleayah ended up consuming about 15 shots. Initially, her friends didn't notice how drunk she was, she didn't fall and seemed to walk fine. They went to play pool, leaving Jaleayah at Brian's house. During the game, they noticed that Jaleayah was very drunk. The alcohol had taken a toll on her, causing her to act inappropriately. She flirted and danced with Katie's ex-boyfriend, making everyone uncomfortable. As the situation became more tense, Kristin decided it was time to leave. They left the pool hall around 3 a.m. Freddie was driving. Kristin was in the front passenger seat, and Jaleayah and Katie were in the back. They headed home but did not go inside. While the friends discussed their plans, Jaleayah was on the phone. After the call, she realized she could not find her bracelet and became upset, blaming Kristin for losing it. Kristin had actually carefully removed the bracelet in the pool hall and put it in her bag, but this only made Jaleayah angrier. Jaleayah got out of the car and called her sister to pick her up. Kristin then overheard Jaleayah calling her sister to change the meeting location. Jaleayah then moved her car and said she would wait for her sister, assuring everyone that she would stay in the car and not go anywhere. The friends then went to McDonald's. This was the last time they saw Jaleayah, and what happened to her after that is unknown. The police questioned several friends, including Kristin, who agreed to testify about the night of the incident. However, the police found many inconsistencies in their statements. Katie shared a similar story but added more details. After Jaleayah was dropped off, she went to Kristin's house. Katie heard Kristin talking on the phone with Taubi. After that, they all went home. Katie met her ex-boyfriend Chris, and they spent the night together. The next morning, Katie learned that Jaleayah had died. She stated that she didn't blame Jaleayah for flirting with her boyfriend because she was drunk. Chris supported her claim, saying they were together that night, and he mentioned that he foolishly flirted with Jaleayah, who was bothering him. He noted that she was very drunk and struggling to stand, but he didn't witness any arguments between the girls that night. However, he also mentioned that Katie told him about a fight between Kristin and Jaleayah after they left the billiard room. Freddie, who drove the girls to the party, is the son of a police officer. He said he arrived at the party before the girls at 11 p.m., but Kristin claimed they were already there at 10 p.m. It's unclear who is telling the truth. They might have just misremembered the time. Freddie mentioned seeing a woman arguing with a white man in the billiard room, but he didn't know him. After the party, Freddie admitted he had been drinking a lot and drove them home. On the way, there was a disagreement about a bracelet. He stated they left Jaleayah in the car while they went to McDonald's. After that, he took Kristin home and then went to his own place. He was unsure how Jaleayah ended up on the highway. The police found the friends' testimonies confusing, particularly Freddie's, who insisted they had not given Jaleayah a ride. However, in the last call made when Jaleayah was on the highway, Kristin's voice was heard, suggesting they were together, possibly without Freddie, or that he was too drunk to recall what happened. As time went on without any arrests, many people started to think the police were not conducting an investigation. They dismissed the incident as an accident. Rumors spread throughout the city suggesting that Kristin and Freddie played a role in Jaleayah's death. Many people believe that her death did not appear to be a simple car accident. Her car showed only minor damage. A few dents, a slightly broken windshield, and a shattered front passenger window. However, there was no significant damage to explain how her body ended up 300 meters away from the vehicle. It seemed more plausible that she had exited the car and had been struck by someone. Additionally, it was puzzling why all of her clothes above the waist were removed and neatly hung on a nearby fence. To make matters more confusing, police later discovered a removable hood from Jaleayah's jacket in the bushes behind the fence. How did it get there, and why didn't the police catch it earlier? It was also odd that her body parts were found scattered across 2 lanes of traffic. Due to the extent of her injuries, her body had to be cremated. In 2012, Amber Stafford approached the police to report what she claimed to have seen on the night Jaleayah died. She said she met Jaleayah at a pool hall and observed a fight in the parking lot involving Jaleayah, 2 black men, and a white woman. According to Amber, after the confrontation, Jaleayah drove away while the men followed her in another car. Jaleayah attempted to escape from them, leading to a chase. Ultimately, the other car collided with Jaleayah's vehicle, and Amber witnessed her getting out before the attack occurred. Amber's account appears to contradict that of Jaleayah's friends and sister. Amber was offered a polygraph test but did not pass. During questioning, Amber confessed that she fabricated her story but did not provide a reason for it. As a result, she received a 6-month prison sentence and a $500 fine. In March 2013, the results of Jaleayah's autopsy were finally made public. Toxicology tests revealed no illegal substances, but the alcohol level in her blood was twice the legal limit. The Wood County Sheriff's Department concluded that Jaleayah's death was accidental. After her friends left, the Jaleayah did not wait for her sister, who was about to arrive. Instead, she started the car and drove away. Since she was drunk, she lost control of the vehicle. Traveling at a high speed of about 110 kilometers per hour, her car skidded to the right and crashed into the guardrail. Because she was not wearing a seatbelt, her body was thrown to the right and hit the windshield when the airbag deployed. She was ejected through the right front door window while the car continued to move. As she struck the guardrail pillars, she bounced back towards the car, causing her clothes to fly off. She flipped over the car, hitting the roof and trunk, which had blood on it, before being thrown away from the vehicle. A car may have been driving down the road at night and, in the darkness, failed to notice a body, running over it and dragging the remains across the road, leaving behind many fragments. This scenario seems implausible. Jaleayah's family did not accept it. They believed their daughter's body couldn't have traveled such a distance. Even if she had been struck by the car, she wouldn't have landed on the hood or trunk. The roof showed no dents that would have resulted from a body hitting it at impact. The police also confirmed that there were no blood, hair, or fibers from her clothing on the pieces of the broken passenger door. No glass was found in Jaleayah's hair or head, so her family does not think she collided with broken glass on the door before being thrown out the window. There was no significant damage to the fence that the police reported the car had crashed into. However, this detail doesn't explain how the victim's clothes were neatly hung on the fence. If she had accidentally ended up there, her belongings would have been out of order, with her underwear on top. Instead, the shirt and underwear appeared to be intentionally torn. It's also puzzling why the car doors were locked. Typically, when the airbag deploys in this model, the doors unlock automatically, so someone must have closed them. A member of Jaleayah's family expressed surprise that physical evidence was left at the scene after the police investigation. Clothing, including underwear, a t-shirt, and a jacket, were still hanging on the fence, and no one had collected them for evidence or conducted DNA testing. In addition, the hood of Jaleayah's jacket, which had blood on it, was left in the bushes. An earring belonging to Jaleayah was found 5 meters from her body, also left on the road. Police did not search for fingerprints or DNA on any of this evidence. Jaleayah's car was towed away by police and parked outside without being properly inspected. Another strange detail was that Jaleayah's favorite keychain, decorated with J-shaped gemstones, a gift from her sister Taubi, was missing. Jaleayah always wore it on her keychain. It was not found at the scene, and it was later discovered that Kristin had it. Kristin claimed that Jaleayah had given it to her, but no one believed Kristin. Jaleayah was very careful with her belongings, especially her jewelry, and even argued with Kristin over a bracelet. It would have been absurd for her to give such an expensive keychain. Taubi also recalled that Jaleayah had asked for her keys in a phone call. Kristin had the keychain attached to the same set of keys. Kristin's attorney eventually returned the keychain to Jaleayah's family. The individuals in the car that night were never considered suspicious or questioned. Their phones were not collected for testing because Kristin, Katie, and Freddie provided alibis, stating that they were at McDonald's when Jaleayah died. Surveillance camera footage from McDonald's shows a car similar to Freddie's arriving at 3:32 a.m. Freddie picked up his order at the drive-thru, but it is unclear who else was in the car. McDonald's employees have mentioned that the timestamp on the records does not accurately reflect reality, although it is unclear exactly how much of a discrepancy there is. Since Jaleayah called Taubi while they were on the freeway at 3:33 a.m., and Kristin argued, it is possible that they were still on the freeway at that time. It is also possible that the time Freddie's car was at McDonald's was accurate, and Kristin was not in Freddie's car. Despite this apparent inconsistency, the police did not verify the exact time they arrived at McDonald's and accepted this testimony, removing all suspicion from all three. The family of the Jaleayah received she-car and carried out their own inspection. They found a significant amount of blood underneath the car. A car hit her and dragged her along the road, which is why there was blood left under the vehicle. The blood found on the road supports this account. The airbag designed to protect the driver deployed, but the one for her did not activate. There was no DNA from Jaleayah found, suggesting she did not come into contact with her airbag. It was discovered that the passenger airbag was faulty and did not function in the car. Additionally, a drop of blood belonging to someone else was found, but its source is currently unknown. The family of the Jaleayah believes she was the victim of a crime that night. They suspect she was struck by the same car, and after the impact, her head hit a fence post, leading to her death. The car injured her severely, resulting in her head and leg being torn apart. Jaleayah's family is working hard to seek justice for her, but so far, the case is still closed.